Over 200 million. I love that. I love the way that the video started. In case you didn't see that, EXP paid over $200 million back to our agents in revenue share last year. So that's awesome. Hey, everybody, my name is Frank Panuto, and I'm going to be your host today, filling in for the true champion of the Big Agent Meeting, Mr. Russell Lagan. So I'll do my best to try to fill his big shoes today. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome. I can't believe that we're entering the end of the first quarter of 2025 already. It's crazy, but it's great to spend time with you today. I'm coming to you from cold, chilly Delaware. Don't be jealous. Eat your hearts out, guys. There's so much going on in the state. You're better off taking a nap. Anyway, we have a packed show for you today with some great guests. We're going to hear from the great Lauren Coleman and Lisa Parento later on. I have a sit-down chat with my boy Felix Bravo. Felix is the man. So you guys are going to love that. Very interesting to get some updates on what's going on in international. Of course, Brian Ellington, the czar of education, will be with us. So looking forward to spending a little bit of time with him. And he's got a great interview with Robin Mann today. So really good show. Great information for you today. Again, happy Friday, but we're going to kick the show off with Ian Wheatley, who is in charge of our KGCI radio station, which you guys, we're the only real estate company that has this. We have a 24-hour radio station. If you're not listening to the content on that, you're missing out because it's awesome. So right now, I want to bring on the great Ian Wheatley.
Hey, thanks for popping by to KGCI Real Estate On Air. Would you benefit from more frequent transactions from fewer clients and customers? That seems like a no-brainer. Duh, yes. But when you're an agent that's working with investors, that is one of the many benefits that you find. But what does getting started in that space look like? Well, immediately following today's Big Agent Meeting over on KGCI Real Estate On Air, we're going to be revisiting Tuesday's episode of Real Estate On Air Live, where I chat with Investor Agent Nation podcast co-host Randy Zimnock about that. He's an investor agent. I'm an investor agent. We put his peanut butter, my chocolate together to give you something pretty good. Now, that is going to wrap up, and then we're going to be spending the next 6 hours diving into the strategies and tactics that you need to know in order to uncover real estate investment opportunities in today's market as part of our weekly Friday focus. So whether you're an agent working with investors, or maybe you're that real estate investor, maybe you're that real estate agent that's doing the real estate investing, you want to add a couple doors to what you got, you don't want to miss out on what we've got coming your way today. Of course, all of it is going to be available on demand wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search KGCI wherever you're doing that. Now, all next week, we're partnering with our friends over at the Agent Power Huddle on YouTube to talk about the best ways that you can use your CRM to track, nurture, and convert leads. And a spoiler here, it all starts by you got to be using the thing, okay? We're going to kick it off with a special edition of Real Estate On Air Live on Tuesday morning, then a special edition of Keeping It Real Estate with Sarah Delancik over at the Agent Power Huddle over on YouTube on Wednesday, building up to a special edition of the Friday Focus 1 week from today. If you're having a hard time keeping up, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, drop us a follow, and stay ahead today with KGCI Real Estate On Air.
Thanks, Ian. Great stuff. I love what he said there about using the thing. It's funny, whenever I talk to people, and I talk to a lot of broker owners and team leaders on a daily basis, that's what we do with the growth team. We always say that there's really two ingredients to be successful here. One is to think bigger than you've ever thought. And number two is to plug into the people and plug into the platform. If you use the thing that we have and that Glenn has built for us, success is right in the palm of your hands. All you have to do is use it. So I love that. And also the investor part of it. I always told people, if you're really trying to get business and things are a little bit slower, don't be reactive, be proactive. Go find the good properties out there and then call your investors and say, hey, I've got something for you. One thing I learned in my 31 years of real estate, investors are not loyal to anyone. They're loyal to the product. So if you could go find a product and bring it to them, get yourself a quick sale, build yourself a portfolio. So really good stuff, Ian. Awesome stuff. Now, we have our brokerage updates coming up with the great Lauren Coleman, and she is with Lisa Parento today. So guys, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Hi, good morning. My name is Lauren Coleman. I am the Vice President of Brokerage Operations here at EXP, and I'm here with the amazing
Thank you, Lisa Parento.
Yes, She is our National AAC Chair, and we're here to discuss the National AAC and why it's so important here at EXP. But first, want to give a little background of how the National AAC became to be. So many moons ago, Glenn Sanford, our CEO and founder, established the National Agent Advisory Council to ultimately ensure that the agent voices are being heard and that they're able to help shape the future of EXP. And with the AACs, you have a unique ability to connect agents with leadership like myself and Beth Adams. And we all truly do work hand in hand with the AAC members, our chair, our vice chair, Mindy Price, our staff liaison, Jessica Fountain, working hand in hand to make sure that EXP is constantly improving by getting real-time feedback from our agents, whether it be having beta projects or piloting projects, initiatives, services, offerings that we have coming out or rolling out, or just getting feedback directly from our agents with boots on the ground, because we truly are serious, as the vision and the mission states that we want to be the most agent-centric brokerage in the world. And just in case there's any international agents, commercial agents, or Canadian agents listening this morning, we do have an international, Canadian, and commercial AAC.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, it's been so exciting to kind of follow the growth of the AAC. You know, I've been around for a couple of years, and you know, as you say, this is like not a Lifetime movie. Like, it really is a true moving kind of entity that, you know, Glenn felt so strongly about creating something formal that was between leadership and the agents, you know. And so I've watched it morph into, you know, a couple different kind of iterations of itself. And now with the expansion into commercial and Canada and international, it's just so exciting to see that, you know, amazing web of connectivity and of collaboration.
Yes. Yep. I agree. And we have a good time doing it as well.
Yeah.
Now, we do want to touch a little bit on the membership structure in case you're curious when it comes to the National AAC. So over to the right, you'll see the list of our current members and our chair, vice chair. The National AAC is comprised of agents from all around the country. We try to attempt to make sure there's representation in as many regions as possible. And the agents, they vary in experience, backgrounds, and specialties. Now, when it comes to the terms, they do last 24 months with a 2 consecutive term max. The terms begin January 1 and they end December 31st. We typically start opening applications for National AAC applicants in November. So that has passed, but we do have some opportunities on a local level that we'll discuss a little later as well. When it comes to the monthly meeting cadence, or the meeting cadence in general, we meet monthly. We also have our newer quarterly regional meetings, and I know Lisa's going to touch on that. And then every year at EXPCon, we all come together. It's an opportunity for us to attend the AAC Summit. So that's for the National AAC, local AACs or state AACs, Canadian AAC, and the International AAC. It's a great opportunity for everyone to get together, mastermind, and collaborate.
And celebrate. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so Lisa.
Yes.
Lisa Parento, you are our chair, our newest chair of the National AAC. Tell us a little bit about your journey here at EXP and how you became to be involved in the National AAC.
Yeah, so I actually remember I was doing some presenting for an EXP Explained back in the pandemic days. I'm a pandemic baby. I came here in February of 2020, not knowing anything that the next month, you know, we were all going to look like brain surgeons because we were working for a virtual brokerage, which before then people thought was definitely, you know, suspicious. So I was doing some presenting with 2 friends of mine. We used to do Wednesday night EXP Explained, and I always saw the slide come up about the National AAC, and it was very, you know, distinguished people. And I thought, oh my goodness, that just sounds like so exciting. And I'm just one of those serial volunteers. You know, I see something that looks interesting, and I see people that I admire and wonder what they're doing. And so the next year when it came around I saw an email that came out about, you know, volunteering for this and to apply. And I thought, well, I've only been around for about a year, but I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring. And a miracle happened, and they did call me and say that I had been selected. So my journey someone actually had dropped off. Actually, I came in like in the middle of a term.
Okay.
And so I was kind of thrown in, and back then we had shareholders and EXPCon. So we met twice physically, and it was just a really amazing group. And we would have meetings, and Glenn would be there, different people. And I thought, oh my, there's all this small room, there were maybe 10, 11 of us, and Glenn and, Patrick. The first time I ever met Patrick was in one of those small meetings. And you just, we hear that the leaders our leadership is so accessible, but they really are. And they really are just trying to solve problems. And that really resonated with me. The fact that this was not some, frosty whatever, that it was actually people who wanted to find little broken places and see if we could make them stronger. I mean, that was just beautiful to me. And so, as I said, I've been around for a few years, and then 2 years ago, I threw my hat in for vice chair. And I have had a project that I would love to talk about a little bit on my heart for a while. And that was in watching the AAC grow. And the first real evolution of growth was in the state AACs. And so I saw state AACs obviously spring up in all of our states, but some of them felt like they weren't quite sure what their charter was, weren't quite sure what to do. And because they were active and they were volunteers, many times they ended up being the ones that were called on to help organize events, which they would step up and do. But then they were kind of like, well, I didn't think I signed up just to be an event planner. Started to sense that it would be really great if we were able to have a more dedicated channel, pipeline, collaboration between the national AAC and the state AAC.
Right.
And that met with a variety of conversations over the past few years. But I kept thinking, well, it'll be my time in 2025, so I'll wait till then, and then I will bring forward this idea. Although I had been talking about it, everyone knew I'd been talking about it. So I met with folks, especially with Patrick, our COO, and talked to him about, what did he think would be really great outcomes from a collaboration like this. And fortunately, he's following in Glenn's footsteps, which is try it for a few months, maybe bend it, break it, see how it works, and let's see, always with a good intention. And so I said, okay. And he said, just, commit to me that we will really have local issues bubble up, because that is a big piece of this. And so as luck would have it, there were 13 of us this year and 13 regional directors. And then I found out that the regional directors had actually been charged with creating a regional meeting quarterly. Yes. So I thought, oh, this will be fantastic. We'll do a mix and match of a national AAC member and a regional director. And then together they can work to help facilitate this quarterly mastermind that will be happening with the state AACs. And it would be, again, my vision was always that the national AAC member would be a helping hand, would be someone to facilitate, would be someone to be able to continue to kind of shine light on local issues, never suggesting that they would solve a local issue, never suggesting. But what Patrick asked of me was that we continue to see if we can find some threads, some similarities between things that were happening at that local level. So the vision that I actually wrote for this program, which I'm calling The Bridge, is to foster collaboration between the national AAC members with EXP regional directors and state AAC members, ensuring that insights, feedback, and support are shared across all levels. This will enhance regional coordination, build stronger relationships, and support our unified goals and strategies. So that's my hope and intention. And so we patched up everybody together, all of the national AAC members with a region, not in their own region, by the way. We kind of did that very intentionally. We tried to have a lot of intention in the way that we have structured this for success, hopefully, and gave everyone kind of a charge, at least this first meeting, to reach out to their regional director and make some kind of a contact and find out. You just say, how can I be helpful? And so really looking forward to our meeting next week, where we'll kind of report back on what those initial phone calls have been. We have a very active Trello board, and everyone's got a card on the Trello board to be able to kind of report their calls because we'll forget it or I'll forget mine. So I said, if we set it up, just be helpful to me, to probably be helpful to some other people. So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, our directors are excited about it as well. Working hand in hand in collaboration with the regional directors, local leadership, the national AAC rep that's been placed, like you said, and then the chairs for each of the states that are in that region, working in collaboration for those regional meetings. So looking forward for the masterminding that will happen during those meetings and getting that feedback as well, so that they can share the love when it comes to those challenges that they've experienced in the state and how they overcame them, as well as those wins. So it's like, okay, that worked in your state or your region. Let's see that over here in the West or the East or South or where have you. So looking very much forward to that. Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that answers one of the questions I was going to ask you about your top priorities for 2025. That's already undergo. So didn't know if you wanted to add another one as well, or had another question for you.
Well, no, I think just having that channel, part of what, there's this mutuality, that I am hoping to continue to kind of facilitate and encourage, where we not only hear about challenges, but we also get the exciting news about new programs that are coming down the pike and things like that. And we've asked all those people that present to us at the AAC to give us kind of some talking points about what that program is. And then I envision us sharing that with our regional director and the state AACs and just having, just more information sharing and just lifting up of everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, spot on. Okay, so now when it comes to the AAC, how do you guys ensure that agent voices are being heard and turned into action? What's one of those routes that you take, that an agent would take to be able to do that?
So we have a great form that's kind of published everywhere. I know we do a newsletter, and I think we could probably do a better job of that. There actually is another project. Do a little bit of a better job of that, but we have a form if any agent has some concern, joy, challenge that they'd like to bring forward to us. They fill out that form and it goes directly onto our Trello board. Like it doesn't, kind of like fall somewhere between a crack. It automatically goes to the Trello board. So someone will see it, has to see it. And someone has to take it from concern brought forward to we're working on it, it's in progress, who's going to do this or that, and then finally to to a solutions column and celebrate column. So anything that comes forward to us actually goes somewhere, and people are looking at it, including us, including all the AAC members. So it gets directed to staff as well as to us, and we make comments on it. And I think it's for a brokerage of our size, I think it's an incredibly effective way. And I know that same thing happens at the state level. There's a form for state, for agents to send something directly to their state AAC. And then if it's deemed that it should come up to the AAC, then it gets funneled up towards us.
Yeah, and we will drop, we will ensure that we drop the link, the National AAC suggestion form in the chat so that you'll have it. And then actually, let's see, thank you. On the next slide, here is, if you take a picture of that QR code, you'll be able to have access to a list of all of your state AACs and their suggestion forms, because we want you to get out. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear your voice, share your input on how you feel that something that you feel that could help improve the state. Like, we want to know that. And you work hand in hand with your brokers, the state AAC members. And so that link will get you to your state. Click on it and fill it out. And same thing like what Lisa said, your input will go to the state Trello board, and then they will address it. Now, if you end up, and don't worry about, which board should I use? Should I use the National AAC form, state AAC form? If you fill out the state form, and then let's say your question or idea would be good for the state, but it's also one of those things where it's like, oh, that's more national level, it's not something that the brokers can necessarily change on the state level, then it will get routed up to the National AAC Trello board that we will address and truly look into and see what's possible. Also, if you're interested in joining the state AACs, it's not too late. Yep. Because the national AAC that happened, that's already passed. But the state AACs, they are applications are open. So you want to pay attention to your newsletters that are going out from your brokers, workplace chats, things like that. But if you just want to reach out to any member of your broker state team, and they'll be able to give you some information on how to join your local.
Or reach out. Feel free to reach out to any of us, me included. It would be hard to say you couldn't find me. I just want to say one quick thing about that. Volunteering at this level, or really any level, is such an amazing part of being a realtor, being in any profession. Mm-hmm. I mean, you find other people that also want to be involved. They're excited about what they're doing. People who are not involved, don't really know what they're doing here, don't love real estate, they don't volunteer for stuff like this. People who volunteer are those that are committed, they care, they want to learn. They often want to learn some leadership skills. I mean, that's where we learn. This is where we learn. So, you really gain so much by being at the table with other folks who also want to be at that table. So I would encourage everyone to consider joining the state AAC and letting that be a springboard to further volunteering for EXP and for real estate in general.
Yeah. Your opinion matters. We want to hear it. So thank you, everybody. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll have more at another time. But get involved. We're here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lauren and Lisa. That was that's awesome. And when we talk about agent centric and all that stuff all the time, and yes, the revenue share is incredible. I mean, that's really unbelievable. But your voice being heard is just as important. I mean, I've been doing this, like I said, for 31 years. I've been with a couple of companies. I've never seen anything where the agent's voice matters and the agent's voices are heard. So when you're talking about being agent-centric, and that's a word that's overused in our industry, I think everybody would agree with that. We put our money where our mouth is, literally with revenue share. But more importantly, when we get feedback from the agents, that's why all these surveys matter, you guys. We have our QBRs, obviously, every quarter from the leadership group. Our agenda is based on your feedback. So every time we meet, we just met in Dallas a couple of weeks ago. The agenda was all about your needs and what you see out there, and any kind of pivoting that we need to do. So please, when we do send out the NPSs and all that stuff, please use it, because it helps us. It helps us grow as a company. So again, thank you so much, you guys, for what you're doing. This national ACZ, killer. That's unbelievable. So excited about that. All right, next up, my little brother, I like to call him, Felix Bravo, Vice President of International. I had the opportunity to sit down with Felix and talk about what the direction of international and what's coming up down the road. Super exciting stuff, guys. So enjoy this next segment. Here we go, Felix. Oh, man, I'm so excited to see you. Here's my little brother. Hey, Felix Bravo. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Frank? How's everything?
Everything's great. For those who don't know, Felix was the regional director in Miami. Absolutely crushed it. And Glenn poached him to come to go run our international program. He's now Vice President of International Growth. And Felix, listen, everything you've been doing has been unbelievable. So first of all, congratulations on all the success that you and the whole international division's having.
Thank you. Yeah, we've just got I almost said something not correct, but we've got an absolutely amazing team. A team that's kicking butt. Let's put it that way. Yeah, we've got an awesome team, man, and we've been moving. I think we've been moving faster than we've ever moved before. And that's kind of been our story over the last 6 months to a year.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that because I think most of us are in the States, right? So we don't really know. We hear bits and pieces about what's going on over there, but we don't really know everything. So, let's get caught up on that. So let's talk about, obviously we added some more countries as was told to us at EXPCon. So let's talk about how that's been. What you see coming down the road and what you see for international as a whole.
Yeah, so just to level set for everyone watching, if you're not too familiar with the international division, we're currently in 22 markets outside of the US and Canada, and we're opening up 4 new markets at the moment. So we've got Turkey, Egypt, Peru. We were just in Egypt. Glenn, myself, Sarah Hutchinson, the rest of the international leadership team, we were there for a bit of a soft launch that we're working on in partnership with the Arab MLS there. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be in Lima, Peru for our launch here, I think March 21st, which we're super, super pumped up about. And then we have a fourth country that we haven't mentioned, that we haven't publicly said which one it is, but I think in the next coming events, you guys will hear about it, which we're super pumped up. But we're all in on international expansion. We have some pretty ambitious goals. And I think over the next 3 to 5 years, what you'll see is EXP International continue to expand to, Glenn says 100 countries sometimes he says 50. We're not really sure, but one thing's for sure is we're pushing expansion. And I really see us being at 60 markets in the next 5 years. So you'll see a ton. We've got so many countries in the pipeline. Thank you to all our amazing agents who have been reaching out, making introductions to people, boots on the ground in these markets. And we've got some really exciting stuff.
Wow, man, that's super exciting to hear. So I know for a while there, we were still, at the same number, and then people were like, "Oh, what's going on with EXP? Did they stop? Are they just going to stop growing?" And from what you're saying, there's no slowing down, only acceleration's coming. So pretty awesome.
We'll be in every single country in the world one day. That is the goal, is to expand EXP to every single country that's out there where that makes sense at least. But we're currently the largest independent real estate brokerage in the world. We're on a mission to become the largest brand in the world. And I think that talk track happens as international continues to expand.
Man, that's so exciting. So let me ask you something. So we get this a lot on our side, as you remember back when you were hanging out with us little people, that, if someone has a lead for another country. Yeah. So in other words, I come to you and say, "Hey, Felix, listen, I have a cousin that owns a brokerage in whichever country that we're not in yet. Is there a path for that? Should they contact you and say, "Hey, look, are you interested in exploring this?"
Yeah, the easiest way is to just reach out to me on Workplace Chat to start setting that conversation, make an introduction. I'll give you guys guidance on the market in general, but the easiest first steps is set us an introduction to somebody who's in that market, who's either a broker owner, top agent, that sort of personality, and we start the conversations there. And for us, it really takes a core group of people, right, to launch a market. So you look at even Turkey, for example, we're launching with Yeet Portugal, who's our country leader there, amazing influencer, top luxury agent. But we also have a core group of 2 to 3 other people in the market who maybe are working more on the operation side of things, on the marketing side of things. So we try to build a core group of people to make our launch as successful as possible. But it all starts with just literally an introductory call. That's the first step.
Yeah, that's great. It really seems like International's putting all their systems in place so that the expansion would be smoother, right? And I always tell people there's 2 ingredients that you need to be successful here when I'm talking to agents about coming over. Number 1 is to think bigger than you've ever thought before. And then number 2 is to plug into the people on the platform because it works. So on that, in that spirit, if someone wants to expand their organization internationally, how hard is that? And is it the same path? Should we still be coming through your department and to get that conversation started?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the most common questions we get, mostly from US and Canada agents, but even agents in France want to learn how they can expand their organizations into Spain or into the UK because there's so much cross collaboration. And what we've really done over the last 6 months is regionalize our communities, right? So we've got EMEA, the EMEA region, the CALA region, the APAC region. They all have their own leadership teams now, and they have strong communities. We have a global referral platform, which our agents use to refer business back and forth internationally. And we also have a local sponsorship program where now, if you wanted to start building a downline or an organization in France, for example, and you're based out of the US, you can find an EXP France agent who's already built a strong organization. Maybe they're a top coach, top trainer, whatever the case may be. And you could reach out to them and partner with them to start building an organization together, even if at the moment you belong to separate lines. So that's our international sponsorship program. That's been wildly successful and highly, one of the hardest things was if I'm going to start attracting people outside of my country, man, the way you sell real estate in France is not the way you sell real estate in Dubai. And in order for you to provide strong support, and in each country we have staff, we have trainings, local tools and all those things, but you really want to have a local sponsor who can help those agents. And so that program has sort of changed the game. And now all our agents internationally are potential business partners for anybody here from the Big Agent Meeting watching, or any of our US or Canada agents who want to expand internationally.
Yeah, awesome. It almost sounds like a co-sponsorship platform. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So, question for you. All right. So, we do know this, but we don't know what the numbers are. So, the caps different in every country? How much does our model vary from country to country as to what we're used to here?
Yeah, so that's another great question. In the past, our caps were pretty different depending on each individual country. Our splits throughout international are, instead of 80-20, there's 75-25. There's a 5% reserve that we add because the cost of doing business internationally is much more expensive. And then the caps vary between 13,000 to 20,000, depending if it's a high cost market or a medium cost or low cost market. So you could think of things like a France, a Spain, and Italy versus a Colombia, Mexico, a Chile. They'll have different costs of living, different average home prices. So we set the caps accordingly.
That's awesome, man. Really good stuff to hear. So along with that, let's talk about the platform and tools. So on the international side, and I ask this question because as we're trying to expand here into your territories, we just want to be able to articulate a little bit about it without getting too deep because we don't want to get in too much trouble, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to the platform and tools, are they essentially the same or is there different stuff for international?
Yeah, so when we enter any new market or any of our current international markets, you get sort of everything that makes us who we are. EXP, right? The workplace chat, the Regis, the Canva Pro. You get the model, right? Revenue share model, equity opportunities. You get the things that make us EXP, but we also need to build a strong value proposition for the local agent. And so we localize by leveraging best-in-class technology. So in each country, they'll have a different CRM, access to different portals, maybe a different lead generator. They will have sort of that local flavor while still bringing the EXP cherry on the top, so to speak, to that value proposition. That's why it's so important to have a local sponsor, but also why we have all of our in-country staff, right? So in each country, you'll have a country leader who you could think of as like the broker of record. We'll have operations teams, finance teams, marketing teams. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to them and they can help guide you through the process. But you could also lean on them to help you in those conversations. So if you picked up a conversation with an agent in South Africa, you could reach out to Andrew Thompson, our country leader there, and he could jump in the convo with you, similar to how you guys interact with the growth team in the US, and help you guys through that process and guide them, because it can get difficult to know and remember, okay, in South Africa, they use this tool versus in Spain, they use that tool. But we localize everything. The one thing we do keep is Workplace, and now as we've announced, we're moving to Slack. But you can reach out to any of our agents on Workplace. That communication is still completely the same, and it will be on Slack as well. And there's a bunch of different groups, whether it's referral groups or even just like luxury groups, new development groups. There's so much happening on the international side that collaborates and cross-pollinates with what our agents on the US are doing. So a ton of different communities for you to get involved in. That's
awesome. And I was so happy that you touched on that, because we're always talking about the fact that we're a borderless company, right? And to know that structure, support, platform is all in place no matter where you are. And the consistency just reinforces why we should be pushing that part of the business and those opportunities. So my brother, I thank you so much for your time today. You're doing an unbelievable job. You, Megan, the whole team are just crushing it over there. So keep on keeping on, brother. And thanks for spending some time with me today.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Always fun being on the Big Agent Meeting. We also have the Big Agent Meeting International every other Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, if you guys want to check that out. We've taken what works here from guys like Russ and Frank and the rest of the team, and Brian Ellington. We spun it up internationally. We do live EXP Explains every single Monday for international as a whole. And we actually do them every single day live. So you'll see that Mondays is the international one. Tuesdays will be about Europe. Wednesdays about CALA. So every single day there's a place to go to. If you go to any of the country websites, they'll have EXP Explains for that country specifically as well, and always live webinars. So a ton of different places to plug in. If you guys want to check us out, reach out to either myself on Workplace Chat or even just go on our websites and social medias.
Sweet. Thank you so much, brother. Great to see you, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank.
Talk soon. Bye. Great stuff. I mean, Felix is so sharp. Thanks, Felix. Appreciate that, bud. So, I mean, guys, a lot of times we see all the imitators out there right now, right? And the grass always looks greener sometimes. And it's like, you know what? I wonder what's going on over there. Why would you leave when you got this going on here? He said over 60 markets in the next 5 years. We are so far ahead of the pack, you guys. It's unbelievable. We are a proven company. So if anybody has any doubts or they're a little bit nervous, feel great about where you are. We are the leader of the pack, and we're staying there. So great stuff from International. They are rolling. It's exciting. So Felix gave a good lead in. He mentioned this guy named Brian Ellington. I mean, I think I've heard of him once or twice. I'm not sure, but some guy named Brian that's kind of, I don't know, put the whole company in a whole nother direction. I mean, you've made things 10 times better. I think I've heard of you. Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah. Hey, Brian Ellington, how you doing, man?
Say it like you would say it if you were back home. This friggin' guy. This friggin' guy.
This guy. I got this guy. See, so Brian's now going into witness protection program with the beard and the whole thing. So I didn't recognize you at first, but what a handsome gentleman you are.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. You've got so much good stuff going on, Brian. I mean, I kind of know a little bit behind the curtain. What you're going to be rolling out in 2025 is unbelievable.
Yeah, the team's really hard at work, man.
Yeah.
Well, so what's interesting, so C.S. Lewis, famous author, he said the gates of hell are locked from the inside.
Wow.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So if you want the key to your challenges of growing your business, EXP's got your back through EXP University. You just have to unlock your particular gate, whatever that is. And whatever that is, we've got something for you. So the lineup next week, got a good one. John Kitchens, Coach John, is coming with the Code to Confidence on Monday as part of Level Up. It's going to be a great show. He's amazing. I got to hang out with him at Build in Detroit. Amazing mind. On Tuesday, we've got my friend Renee Rodriguez, a best-selling author, keynote speaker. He's continuing the Amplify EXP series. If you haven't signed up for this, do sign up for this. On Tuesday, he's going to be talking about differentiation strategies. Look, there's 1.5 million realtors out there. How do you stack up in the marketplace? How do you stand out in the marketplace? Come join Renee. Let him help you with that. On Wednesday, my friend Janie Coffey is going to be doing a free session on breaking into luxury and breaking down luxury myths. Please join us. You can, there it is. There's the QR code. It's a free session, 12 noon Eastern. Janie is brilliant, and she practices what she preaches very well, by the way. And then on Thursday, we've got Expand Investing with my friend Brandon Brittingham. This is the ongoing continuation. This is a group investing group series. So he's going to be talking about all the strategies you need to invest using my favorite kind of money, which is OPM, other people's monies, and how you can grow your portfolio to the size of some of the people that he's helped coach into the millions. Also on Thursday, we have Felix Bravo, who is going to be doing the EXP Masterclass on how to expand your business internationally. You heard him talk about the 60 markets over the next few years. Go get your unfair share piece of it. And by the way, it's not as hard as it sounds. I had a great conversation with Barry, who has helped himself to the international markets and is growing his revenue share. So we'll put that up as a lab sometime. I'm sure of it. Speaking of which, next Friday, we're dropping a lab with my friend Al Abdullah. He's going to be talking about FSBOs, expireds, and even recruiting too. And then on the Big Agent meeting, my friend Janie Coffey is going to join us. One last thing before I bring out our guest for today. EXPCon Montreal. For all my Canadian brethren and sistren, or those of you who are pretty close to the border, go check that out. We've got 30 breakout sessions, tons of masterminds, tons of great opportunities for you to network with other agents so you can build out your agent-to-agent referrals. Look, the conference can pay for itself if you make it pay for itself, but it's going to be an amazing, fun time, plus a few parties along the way. So come join us for that. So today, Frank, I got to sit down recently with Robin Mann, a friend of ours. I do too. Amazing mind. And we, of all the things we could talk about with her, we talked about sphere of influence and how you build and work a sphere of influence. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Robin Mann. So Robin Mann, 5-time icon from the Charlotte area. Thanks so much for being here. Now, I'm curious. Tell us a little bit about your background, your journey to get to where you are in real estate to start us off.
All right. So thanks for having me. That's the first thing.
Always welcome.
Journey in real estate. So I started out as a 2 full-time career agent. Like I couldn't make the leap as being a solo agent. And I worked for the biggest brokerage in the area, and they were one of the biggest in their whole brokerage. But so I worked 2 full-time jobs for 9 months, and I did 9 months. I did 9 deals in 9 months. I was their rookie of the year, and they are the largest market center in their brokerage. And I was the rookie of the year being a part-time agent, which was pretty cool. So did that, left and did full-time, and then got a TC. I did 9 deals that first 9 months, then at 26, got a TC, transaction coordinator, and did 52 transactions. And then I have not gone behind that. So I started in 14, no, I started in 15, so 16, 17. So I'll be up on my 10-year mark in 15. So this April will be 10 years. So I've done at least a sale a week since 2017.
Okay.
And that leads me here.
I heard the talk about it. And the win-win, that for me was fine. But you were about to say something else, and I didn't hear what you were saying.
Okay, so I wasn't going to tell you about this, but this is something else that I do every year, and I do it. I work on I like being a creative. So, and I worry about copyright laws, and so I know this is illegal. So I don't know if you can see this, but
yeah.
And so that's
Is that your face on both of them?
Yeah, that's Hillary and that's David, but it's my face. So I've done this type of postcard every year, like something silly. One year it was Friends, one year it was Michael Jordan. In 2023 it was Michael Jordan because that's his number. But it's always something creative, and it always says, do you still love your house? If you don't, great. If you do, awesome. Either way, I want to hear from you. And so it's just something that's a little bit out of the box. It's the same thing that everybody sends. They send a closing anniversary card or something, but I do something fun. So when I do things, I really work on it being something that makes them laugh and that makes them feel.
It gets them to pay attention too, I think, which is that's the problem with any sort of direct mail or email, is that there's others in the mix every time you go to the mailbox. There's a ton of emails in your inbox every time you open your inbox. How do you stand out? And I think that's very clever. So when you're talking about your taco drive, for example, your taco about Thanksgiving, I'm curious about that. Can you give me some details? Are you renting out the restaurant? Are you buying tacos for everybody? Are you getting sponsors to come help, vendors rather, to come help with the costs?
Absolutely.
Tell me about the setup of that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the other thing I wanted to mention on that, you had said earlier, well, let me add, I wanted to touch on sphere and who your sphere is, but I can answer your question first, because I think people get really confused on the sphere thing. And I have a thought pattern on that. But so for Taco About Thanksgiving, yes, I would have like my lender or my lawyer or my home inspector or any of them, even if they contribute a little bit, $100, $200, like it's not a ton of money from them. They're going to get to see the people that they served, because the majority of my lawyers and my lenders and my home inspectors are all people that I use a lot. So they've served my clients as well. So I invite them and say, hey, would you be willing to contribute $100 to the night? And of course you can be there and see everyone and pass out, tape measures or whatever you want. So I invite several of them, and we don't have a talk. We don't have a presentation. We all show up and have tacos together. And so, yes, it was a local restaurant that we did this year, and I've did it at another one time before, but this year we did it at a local restaurant. We had a separate register where they tallied our stuff only. They got 2 tacos and a drink, and they had this called duck taco. It's all these funky, cool tacos. So, and then we had an area. We didn't rent it off per se. We just said, I picked a night that was a very slow night for the restaurant. I said, what's your slowest night? And they were like, Tuesdays. I was like, rock on. That's the night I want. Can I kind of take over this portion of the place? And they were like, yes. I am very much frugal with my business money. I rarely spend money on things. I get others to spend it, or I figure out a way to do it like this. That's a win-win. So no, I didn't rent it out. So it was great fun. We just had an area and people trickled in. There was no mass quantity of folks at one time. It was just a span of people that trickled in, and they brought their socks, and we ate tacos and drank margaritas, and then the cool thing about inviting your other vendors is you have people to talk to your people. Because if you're the only one there, which is what I used to do, I had a pie drop in and people would come and pick up their Thanksgiving pie, and there's 30 people that show up and they all want to talk to me. You know, so when you invite those people in, okay, I get to talk to you, Brian, for a second, and then, okay, wow, I can go talk to these 4 people and not feel like I've just left you hanging. So yeah, we just did it right there at the taco place, got all the socks. And then if you are a social media person, which I am, you're filming content. I don't hire a professional. I use my cute little phone to film content, and you're taking pictures. You can have your spouse or your friend or your vendor make sure they're taking pictures. And then when you deliver the socks, that's a whole nother opportunity. And if you really want to, you can create a postcard that says we were able to give, 500,000 pairs of socks, and look how happy we made some people, and then send it out to your people. So you can leverage every event for months of content and of touches.
Well, I'm curious too, because people showing up in droves to drop off socks at a taco restaurant or any other like client event doesn't just happen, right? You talked about the fact that you leverage the event and post to communicate, but you're also communicating with them up front. I'm curious, in a typical setup for something like that, what does it take to get people to show up? Are you phone calling? Are you emailing? Are you DMing? Or are you putting posts? All of the above?
Yes, so I'm doing an Eventbrite,
okay,
or a Sign Up Genius kind of that I'm willing to contribute 5 socks, 5 pairs of socks, whatever. So either an Eventbrite or a Sign Up Genius. That it goes out initially in email and on a Facebook post. That's my post, because I do friend all of my clients if they want to be my friend. So, and then I also will just put it out there because that's a great opportunity. And that's really a fun story. I did an ice cream party in a local ice cream store last summer, not this one. And a man was at the ice cream store. He starts talking to me. Well, I've helped him sell a house and buy a house just because he was at the ice cream store and saw what I was doing for my people. So, I mean, that's just cool because we were just there loving on people. And he's like, I want to be part of that. And I love those people. So, I would put it out on my own personal Facebook page, and then I would tag people in that are the people invited. I would create a Facebook event and make sure those same people are tagged. Then I would also email them the Eventbrite. And then I also, if you haven't used the Reach app, Reach is a free app, and you can also do it from KV Core, but Reach is a free app where you can create a group. And so it could be, I called it Mansgiving this year. We did Mansgiving because my last name's Man. So Mansgiving this year, I had a group of who all was going to be invited. And then you you type the message, and you can put the little parentheses, hey, Brian, I'm doing this event. I want to make sure you're there, so that their name goes in there, and it comes out like it's coming straight from your phone. There's no hidden numbers, and it's a free app. It doesn't cost anything.
And it's REACH.
REACH. So that was a great app because then they text back, oh gosh, blah blah blah, and even if they say no and they can't come, you can still leverage that event. Do you want to give some socks? Can I swing by and see the house and pick up some socks? No, you can't. I totally get it. I sure just loved being in contact with you this year. Happy holidays. So you can even use the nose.
I'm curious. You're a 5-time icon, right? What size database does it take to really get to that level in your business and your experience? Whether you're doing it through the social database or your formal CRM, what does it take to sustain that kind of business?
So my actual database probably only has 1,000 people in it, my actual CRM CRM. Now I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I've got followers on all the social medias, but even at 1,000, I don't think you're logistically, physically able to touch 1,000 people a year. I mean, you can in a very non-personal way, but in terms of actually engaging, I think I'm only reaching out to 300 a year. So the biggest key to the database is to do it now and make it part of your world from the beginning. And it's very simple. You put in the name, you put in as much information as you can find about their email, their phone, the notes. I always like to think, what if, and I said it yesterday to a friend, like, instead of what if I die, what if I come into $1 gazillion and I want to sell my business to somebody? There ought to be notes there that can say, here's the scoop on Brian, so that they can pick it up and you can still get paid while you're at the beach and wherever, you know? So your database is gold, and it's not hard. It's what is it? It's not easy. It's simple. Yeah, it's simple. This is really simple. It's not easy. It's very simple. Just
Very simple.
put the stuff in.
Got to do the work. You got to do the work. And on a weekly basis, I'm curious, how much time do you spend in, say, social or your CRM to bring about the kinds of results that you're talking about?
A lot. People are like, so when I used to teach a class called Finding Your Business, people would be like, you're on social media. This was in the beginning. You're on social media 8 hours a day. How do you do any work? I'm like, that is my work.
Yeah.
That is my job. Now, I'm not just watching puppies and kittens. I'm actually intentionally using it as a resource. So now it's much less. In the beginning, without a doubt, 8 hours a day. And it was, again, back to that 20 tallies. Mm-hmm. If I didn't have 20 and it was 10 o'clock at night, I would tell my husband, hey, man, I got to figure out 2 more contacts. And I would find the contacts and put them in my database. And if I didn't get them in the database because I was too tired or whatnot, then the next day I was committed. Or if I only got 18, okay, well, next day I'm doing 22. Like, I was very, very intentional and pretty hard on myself for that. Because if you don't do it, you won't get it. You've got to do the numbers. It's a numbers game.
I think success in any arena has a discipline attached to it. And in real estate, there's probably several disciplines in real estate, right? Mastery of skill and things like that, obviously. And yet I think the biggest discipline in real estate is the contact sport of it all, making sure that you are getting in conversation with people.
Exactly. And what I was going to say earlier about sphere, people are like, I don't have a sphere. Yes, you do. And there's an easy worksheet and you can just make it up yourself. But, you know, at the top, right, you know, who did I go to college with? Who did I go to high school with? Who is my hairdresser? Who's my barber? Or who's my oil change? Who's my banker, my lender? Any person you can name, and then just fill it out. Who are friends from high school? What's my aunt and uncle's names? They don't have to live in your city. Mm-hmm. Because in the beginning, what I would do, I literally would call Aunt Joe, who lives in Danielsville, Georgia, which I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. She is not a valid client. What Aunt Joe would do for me is listen to me and practice. Hey, Aunt Joe, it's Robin. I gotta practice this script. Will you pretend you're a buyer? Will you pretend you're a seller? And of course, yes. Nobody wants to help me more than Aunt Joe, right? So, right. And that's a contact for the day. Did it actually lead to money? No. Did it lead to my skills being enhanced? Yes. And that's
it's funny you say that. In FastCap, I joke with him. So we level up to 5 we call them real talks, right? 5 real talks a day is what we level up to. We start in week 1 with just 1 per day. And I tell them quite literally, go call your grandmother, go call your auntie, go call your best friend, and practice and fumble your way forward and laugh about it. Because these are people who love you and care about you and will let you be vulnerable with them. But the interesting thing is every single round of FastCap, invariably we have somebody come back and say, you'll never believe it. My grandmother's bridge partner is selling their home and I got a listing appointment, right? That happens all the time. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's called sphere of influence. Whether you're novicely fumbling your way through it, you're still letting somebody you know who loves you and that you love know that you're in real estate. And there's power.
Referrals. Like, she lives in Danielsville, Georgia. She may not be selling but her neighbor might be. And then she'll call, hey, Robin, who do you know in Danielsville? And they may have a favorite realtor, but they may not. And then boom, you're getting referral money.
Heck yeah. So, I'll take 25%, 35% out of town all day long. Robin, as we're getting to time here, I'm curious, when it comes to being purposeful about building your sphere of influence, if you could start it all over again and go bigger and faster than you did back then, is there something you would have done differently about things?
I don't want to be cocky, but I went pretty dang fast. Like I did 9 deals in 9 months, like straight out of the gate.
Fast.
Yeah. So I think I would be, well, okay, I will say, but I wouldn't say. I was very much for hire. You want me to go? So Charlotte is big. I live down here, and would I go up here? Yes. Would I go over here? Yes. So in the beginning, I was like, yes, I will go there, and I did, and that helped me to get 52 homes a year. And I wouldn't change that, because that is how I just was like, I am determined to make this successful. And so what I could have done better at that moment is to leverage that out. Let's find an agent up there and what I could do now, that I can refer that out to, instead of me driving all over the place. That would be really smart. In building a team, if I wanted. I'm not a team person. I'm always just, I do better. I have people I have 60 agents, but I'm not a team leader. The other thing I would have done is to be more intentional. I did this with one particular neighborhood, and it worked out really well, and I could have done it more, but I just dove straight into the Facebook. I picked the neighborhood that I love, and I just went door knocking. And it was a market research door knock. Like, if you ever want to have a door knocking class, I'll teach you all day long. But because I've got some great door knocking stories that have turned into really cool wins. But I just picked the neighborhood I loved, and I literally knocked on the doors. Hey, I'm a new realtor. This neighborhood, every time I'm in it, I smile. This is why I love it. Why do you love it? That's it. That was the door knock.
That's a great script, by the way.
Right? Thank you. It's so simple, right? And then the key is, this is a crazy story. I taught door knocking class. This beautiful little man went out. He did 3 of those notebooks you're talking about with your mom. 3 of those. Yeah. He's like, Robin, I don't have any business. I'm like, well, show me your follow-up. And he's like, well, I didn't follow up.
Yep.
He just kept really good notes. I was like, oh, you're killing me. But like so what would be smarter is if I really wanted to, like right now, if I want to up my price point, all right, well, let's get back to knocking on some doors, and let's pick a neighborhood that's the higher point demographic, and do the same exact thing I did with this little neighborhood that I loved in a higher demographic place. And if you don't want a door knock, okay, well then circle farm it, or Facebook, get a part of their Facebook group somehow. Go make a friend in there. Like, just figure out a way to get there, because there's so many ways to get there. Yeah. I don't know if that answered that, but I think maybe just being more central geographically, but really no, because it helped me to be all over.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the name of the game is building up your sphere. However you choose to do it is fine. Door knocking is a great way to get in front of people, because you're immediately building a relationship. You're immediately building rapport. I'm a former door knocker for 6 years. I love door knocking. And by the way, I'm going to take you up on your offer when we go to the geographic farm training as part of this series.
Love it.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your hard-won wisdom with us. We appreciate it. Our EXP family obviously is going to appreciate learning from you. So thank you from all of us.
You are so welcome. I loved it. I hope it was helpful to at least one person. So
I know it will be helpful to a lot of people. Yeah. All right. So for all of you out there, get out there, build your sphere, build your social media influence, and then work it through a database so that you can succeed and have stable success in your business as you go. Thanks so much for tuning in. And thank you, Robin, for being with us.
Thank you so much. I mean, if you've ever met Robin, underneath it said authenticity advocate. Spend 5 minutes with Robin. You think you just met your best friend. She's an exceptional human being. Thank you so much, Robin. So we come to the end of our show, guys. And like always, don't forget to make sure that you fill out that NPS score so we know how we are doing, because your voice matters here. And stay tuned now as we have the icon recognition video coming up. And we'll see you next Friday on the Big Agent Meeting. Have a great week, everybody.